Hello and welcome to the Style Spot channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you 4 signs of quality in clothing to look for so that you don't overpay for something that's not worth it and so that you actually pay a little bit more if something is great quality. With that, let's get to it. The first sign of quality we're going to be talking about are exposed zippers versus invisible zippers. Sounds a little bit scandalous? Let's take a look. This is an example of an invisible zipper. You can't see the teeth of the zipper, you just see fabric against fabric. And then with the zipper pull, another mark of quality is that the zipper pull will be made of metal instead of plastic. Plastic is cheaper to produce. And so if the zipper pull is made of metal and the teeth are made of metal and it's an invisible zipper, then it's more expensive to produce. Here's an example of an exposed zipper. From time to time, there are trends where an exposed zipper like this is in fashion. It comes and goes in cycles. So I bought this dress when exposed zippers were kind of back in vogue. You can see this really huge zipper pull. It's not as dainty and delicate as the other one was. You can also see all the teeth here. You can see how far apart the fabric is. So this is not as expensive to produce as an invisible zipper. Another sign of quality to look for is lining. Lining inside of jackets, lining inside of dresses. Let's look at a few examples of lined and unlined clothing. This is an example of a lined jacket. Lining is more expensive because it's extra fabric, it's more steps to sew it in, and so this is a jacket that has a printed lining. It's just a really nice contrast. So they could have done a solid blue to match the jacket. They could have done a black, but they did this contrast. The great thing with this is that it's fully lined and the sleeves are lined, which means that you can pull the sleeve up so you can see that it's fully lined all the way down to the sleeve. So you can flip up the cuff of the sleeve, can be flipped, and it shows this printed fabric. This is another mark of quality to look for with jackets. I just wanted to show you a second example. So this is not as pretty as the last lining, but you can still see that it is lined, and also they added this little piece of hardware for branding. This is more expensive also. They didn't have to do this, so that's just extra cost for them. But it's not going to do anything for you as a customer. Lining has a benefit because your jacket is going to hold up better. This is just kind of extra swag that they've added on, so I'm not as big a fan of this, but I definitely look for lining in jackets. So this pulls together both examples that we just had. This is an exposed zipper. You can see the teeth. It also has no lining. So you can just see how the garment is pieced together. There's absolutely no lining on this. It's going to be more transparent. It's not going to be as warm. It won't wear as well. So I would not pay as much for an unlined jacket as I would for a lined jacket. I did want to point out this zipper pull is really nice. It has a little bit of extra detail on it. That's a nice little add-on. So that's something to look for. So I wanted to show you an example of lining in dress because dresses can be lined also as well as skirts. So you can see this is a houndstooth print and they lined it with a really pretty red. This goes all the way down almost to the hem of the dress, and you can just see these are where you can attach straps. So this can go from being a strapless dress to a strap dress, which, as you know, being more versatile, that's something I also look for, is how many different ways I can wear something. That's an added cost that they've built into the dress, so I'm happy to pay a little bit more if it means that I can wear it in different places. The third sign of quality that we're going to look at are prints and how they line up along the seams. Let's take a look at a few examples of prints. I wanted to talk a little bit about prints. So in really high quality design, they are very careful when they're cutting and sewing and measuring out the patterns to make sure that wherever the print lays out, it's not really jarring. Like you can't just see where there's a duplicate pattern or there's a clashing pattern. So I'll show you this dress, and then I do want to point out on a different print. So if you look closely here, now this is the side of a polka dot denim jean. See how this polka dot cuts off, and the polka dots are spaced farther apart, and then they get closer together, closer together, closer together. Here it's cut off. So in a really high quality print, you wouldn't find that. You wouldn't find overlap, you wouldn't find cutoff, you wouldn't find repeating patterns, because everything is really carefully cut and laid out. It means that they go through more fabric, so it's a greater cost to them, but it's a sign of quality because they're willing to go through more fabric to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen. The fourth sign of quality is a little something extra. I'm actually going to give you an opportunity to guess what it is, so let's take a look at that. This is one of my favorite dresses. It's a very soft leopard print dress. It is lined. What I wanted to point out is that's a mark of quality is this little doohickey. Can anybody guess what this is? No? Yes? This is to keep your bra strap in place. So this snaps up, your bra strap fits through there so that your bra strap doesn't just peek out any which way. It holds it in place. So this is a really nice added feature that they don't have to do. It's an added cost for them. So I look for this, and I'm willing to pay a little bit more on a dress if it has this. So this is an unlined dress, which makes it a little bit more scratchy, a little less comfortable. I wouldn't pay as much for this dress. They do have a bra strap holder, but I want to just point out the difference in the last one. You can see this is just kind of hanging out there. It's really hard to put on. You have to catch this little guy and line it up, and it's just not as secured. I would probably have to reinforce this if I'm going to wear this dress on a regular basis. I have had some of these that just pop off over time, so this is an extra cost for them, but it's not as much as the one that I showed you before. But yeah, that's what that's for. This is to keep your bra strap in place. Nice little bonus feature. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you're still tuned in, that means you watched the whole video. Thanks so much. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our weekly videos. We do want to just mention that we are praying for people. We know that a lot of people are going through really difficult times right now, and so we are praying for y'all, and we hope that your family is in great health and that you have plenty of toilet paper. So we'll see you next time.